Hello, this is James. I have a farming deck for the Syrus event that just dropped a couple of hours ago, and the immortal god Ra has returned to our mortal plane, and I have cast the money changers from his temple. Now, loyal viewers will recognize this deck. It's the Kiseitai Massivemorph and Temple of the Mind's Eye stalling deck. So what you do is you play your Kiseitai face down, and then Syrus's big monster attacks it, and then you limit your damage with Temple of the Mind's Eye, and you use Massivemorph to make that monster enormous, and Kiseitai keeps sapping off the attack points as life points, and then you just get a big crazy pile of life points, and at the end you summon the divine being and then sacrifice all of your life points, and you get a bunch of good point bonuses for doing that. Now, the way that I originally had to summon Ra was using Cosmic Compass and Double Summon, and that was good, that was fine, but it cost a pound of flesh. So what we're instead using, and if you have these two cards, I would recommend using them, because 3-card combo piece is better than a 5-card combo piece. Well, 6 plus anti-magic arrows. But basically, after you do your Kiseitai Massivemorph and Temple of the Mind's Eye stall, you will have in your hand anti-magic arrows, Photon Lead, and 3 Daybreakers and Ra. So then what you will do is you will use Photon Lead to special summon 1 Daybreaker, then you chain special summon the 2nd Daybreaker, and then you chain special summon the 3rd Daybreaker by the effect of Daybreaker. When this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 Daybreaker from your hand, so you have 3 tributes ready for the pleasure of the Winged Dragon of Ra. This is a great deck, no money need be spent, and it's overkill. So if you're very, very new to the game, do not fear. You do not need the Winged Dragon of Ra. In fact, you can replace him with Amazoness Swordswoman. The deck works exactly the same. And in fact, it'll be a little more consistent, because you'll need these 4 combo pieces, and you can instead add cards that will make the deck even more consistent. So, and very importantly, in the end game, make sure that you keep a Temple of the Mind's Eye to set on top of your original Temple of the Mind's Eye, so that whichever monster you're attacking with can do more than 1,000 damage, because it affects you as well. We have anti-magic arrows to block his back row. I've fought him 4 times. I've not seen his back row, so I don't think that it messes up the farm, but we have anti-magic arrows just in case, to prevent from getting cheesed out of our rightful rewards. And Enchanted Javelin is an insurance card. So in case, because this deck, it's actually trickier to use this deck against Syrus, because he has a lot of fusion summoning monsters. So if you need to infect with Kiseitai and Massivemorph to continue to stall out for it to survive until the next turn, then on his turn he could easily fusion summon that monster away into an even bigger monster. And that's why I'm making 2 recommendations. One is that Draw Sense Dark is almost required for this deck, because you'll have a monster infected, and then he'll fusion summon that Vecroid into another even bigger monster. So you need to make sure that you can draw a Kiseitai to keep the gravy train rolling. And the second is, with these extra combo pieces, we need to be able to shuffle them back into the deck so that we can get the cards that are actually useful for the stall. And that's going to be good goblin housekeeping. Now, there's a couple of rules to playing with good goblin housekeeping. The first is, do not chain good goblin housekeepings to each other, because basically you won't have one in the graveyard to draw. The way you play good goblin housekeeping is you play the first one, and that lets you exchange a card, and then you play the second one, and since one's in the graveyard, you exchange a card and you get a card for free, and then the third one is you exchange a card and you get 2 cards for free. So that's very good, but make sure that you don't chain them, and also, if at all possible, try to only play them when you have a card that you want to exchange that's in your hand, and that's going to be one of these 6 combo pieces. These 6 cards do not assist with the farm in any way, so those are the targets for the exchange with good goblin housekeeping. Now, I will continue making farm decks I will make as many farm decks as I'm able to, because I know that we all want to. So if this deck doesn't work for you, I'm going to have more in the works, because I know that we all want those Vecroid cards, because they're surprisingly good. Roll the clips! So this is actually the very first farm against Syrus Truesdale, and we draw pretty well. We have 2 goblins, and a Kiseitai, and a Temple of the Mind's Eye. We draw one of our combo pieces, so we go ahead and dump that back into the deck. We set our second goblin. Again, remember, do not chain them together. And here, you can, if he has multiple monsters, you can choose which one will attack with Massivemorph. The small drill Vecroid messes that up, but I'll explain that in one of the other replays when it comes up. But here with the monsters that don't affect don't have an effect against face down monsters, if you Massivemorph one of them, that's the monster that will attack the Kiseitai. It's pretty convenient. And so here we're all getting good, full of life points. And here's the polymerization prioritization. He tributes the other 2 Vecroids and does not tribute the one with the high attack points. Now, I believe he is programmed to just get out his fusion monsters, so he does tribute the infected Vecroid, the one we were using, and that's why Draw Sense Dark comes in so clutch, because we're able to replenish the Kiseitais. And here we infect his big monster, and we're all set. There's no way he's going to be able to do enough damage to us when we're getting half of 6,000 in life points. And also, I'm fairly certain that the AI is not programmed to fusion tribute a fusion monster. I think that it's just programmed to get out those fusion monsters. Like you saw, he tributed the 2 monsters that weren't infected to get out the drill, and then he tributed the infected trained Vecroid and another one in order to get out I think that's the double bicycle. And so this is what's great about this particular farming deck, is once you're all set up, once you're getting more than 2,000 life points per turn, you don't have to really worry about anything. And here we're just gonna go get another Massivemorph onto the Super Vecroid Jumbo Drill, chaining it to the Kiseitai to just get a ridiculous amount of life points. Now, very important, we keep a Temple of the Mind's Eye in our hand. I know this is the second time I'm saying this. We keep a Temple of the Mind's Eye in our hand to set on top of the Temple of the Mind's Eye that we already have. So here we activate Photon Lead, we special summon, keeping our normal summon, activate Ra's effect, we set Temple of the Mind's Eye on top. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure the toggle is set to on, and anti-cheese the back row, and here's our win. Now, Ra is overkill. He gets over 9,000 points, and you could easily score over 8,000 with Amazoness Swordswoman. So here's our second farming attempt. So because this is so new, I usually show 2, but I'm actually gonna show 3 in this video. And that's also why these clips are pretty speedy. They're about 250% speed. So in this one, we draw horrible. We get a Massivemorph and we get an Enchanted Javelin, and we can chain those 2 together to get a fair bit of life points. So when the big monster attacks, you play Enchanted Javelin and you chain Massivemorph, and then they don't attack and you get the 6,000. And there's the Draw Sense Dark coming in clutch. We get our Kiseitai, and now what went from being terrible by drawing 3 combo pieces is now a sure thing. So he gets out his lame fusion monster, and we draw a Good Goblin Housekeeping. And so now we just sit on our infected Kiseitais. Man, why are we drawing so many combo pieces? And the reason I haven't played that Enchanted Javelin and set the Goblin Housekeeping is because it is insurance, and there I play it so that because I don't want to discard cards. I want to go ahead and shuffle my combo pieces back into the deck, and get some cards that are useful to my purposes. And also, at that point, I have such a ridiculous amount of life points that even if he fusion tributes off all of those monsters and gets out his really big monster, I believe it has like 4,000 attack points. I haven't seen it in the 4 times that I've farmed him, but I'm pretty sure that it's in there, thanks to the Game A website of all the Vecroid cards. So here we go ahead and set the Kiseitai just to get the cards out of our hand, and we play our last Good Goblin Housekeeping, and finally we see Temple of the Mind's Eye. We were just getting battered without it. But as long as you're getting a ridiculous amount of life points and healing, you can survive without Temple of the Mind's Eye, and this replay proves that. But here we are going to just get an absurd amount of life points, and then we're going to set Temple of the Mind's Eye. I'm going to stress that as many times as I need to. And here's our Daybreaker Photon Lead combo. Gets out 3 tributes for Ra. Normal summon Ra, activate his special ability, enter the battle phase, make sure toggle is on, and activate anti-magic arrows. You don't need toggle to on, I'm just being paranoid. It'll work if toggle is set to auto. Over 9,000, can totally be done with Amazonas. Finally get that Firm as Earth skill so I can make Psychic's Firm as Earth OTK video. So here's our 3rd and last replay. Set 2 cards. You always want to start off with a Temple of the Mind's Eye. And if you're going with the version that's going to have an Amazonas Swordswoman, so you replace Ra with Amazonas, and then you can take out those 4 cards, the Photon Lead and the 3 Daybreakers. Go ahead and replace them with a Javelin and maybe a couple maybe 2 Pathfinders and a Crystal Seer. Yeah, that's what I would do, because you definitely want Temple of the Mind's Eye. Like that one card by itself buys you a lot of turns in terms of stalling. So make sure you get it. And so here, see the jumbo, not the smaller drills. There's the jumbo drill, and then there's just the smaller drills, and they have priority to attack face down monsters. And their effect is to just up and destroy the face down monster, but they still get infected by the Kiseitai. So go ahead and just Massivemorph them as normal. So we have our Massivemorph. We're just going to get that Steam Gyroid super big. And I think that once he has, because a lot of his fusion monsters require, or the 2 big ones, the big drill and the big Vecroid, require like three fusion tributes. But I don't think the AI will fusion tribute its own fusion monsters. So that's why I'm totally comfortable putting all these Massivemorphs and Kiseitais on this this train Vecroid. Sort of the Vecroid equivalent of Esadari. And here we're gonna set our Enchanted Javelin just for insurance. And we're gonna play it. And 80,000 life points. We're actually gonna hit the cap in this farm. And so I'm playing with the Temple of the Mind's Eye because I'm thinking about making a point, which is once you have just a ridiculous amount of life points, make sure that once you have a ridiculous amount of life points, you can go ahead and set your Temple of Mind's Eye on top of your other Temple of Mind's Eye, because there's no way that he can kill you before the farm is out. You'll have plenty of life points for Ra to take full effect. And if it's make sure that you don't discard your only way to negate Temple of the Mind's Eye. Otherwise, you'll blow the farm at the last minute, and that's not a good feeling. Good farming. Thank you for watching.